Welcome, everyone, to another edition of The Brute and the Fruit companion audio commentary. And tonight we're watching one of the great films of all time, the 1975 Jaws.
That's right. That is right. This is one of the heaviest of hitters for me. This is possibly my favorite movie that's ever been made. I think this movie is perfect. Every time I see it, it gets better. It is like the finest of wines.
Wow.
It's like the greatest of albums. I cannot get sick of this movie. This movie is such a masterful example of the movie-going experience and what it can give you. Now, I'm honestly surprised that Spielberg was even able to follow this up. I feel like the fact that Spielberg was even able to follow this movie up, and to some people he followed it up even bigger, like with E.T. or Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Like some people would say those might be, but the fact that he was able to even make those films and pull those off under the crippling pressure that it would be to follow up Jaws is a tip of a cap on his own. The fact that he was able to pull off Close Encounters of the Third Kind and it wasn't like a bomb. Like he bombed 1941. That was like his bomb film. That was, I think, after Close Encounters and maybe before E.T. It was somewhere there, and that was supposed to be like this war comedy, and it bombed. It didn't do well, but like that was the first one. If he did, if most people would do a Jaws and then follow, or not a lot of people could do Jaws, but someone could do Jaws and then they follow it up with a bomb, a dud of a movie. Or if you look at it in music terms, you have a band who releases this monstrous first album and then their second album is a dud because there's no way to follow it up.
Right. Yeah, the expectations.
You know, it's like.
So what did he do before Jaws?
So he did. Famously, I mean, there's better ways for people to learn this shit. You go on HBO. There's a great documentary called Spielberg. It goes through his whole career and his life, yada yada yada. When he was I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. He snuck onto Universal Studios lots through the tour, like the tram tour. So he'd get on and he'd be on the little trolley or whatever that drives around showing people the lot. And during the bathroom break or whatever, he'd hide in the bathroom till the trailer left, and then he'd just start wandering. And so the rumor has it that he just found a fucking empty office and started just working out of it and like doing jobs and like running around. And he caught the eye of Sid Sheinberg, who was a big wig with Universal, and that's how he became like his like protege, essentially. So like Spielberg at the age of like early 20s was directing like TV episodes and doing a lot of TV shit for Universal, like because Rod Sterling from Twilight Zone. They ended up doing another show called like not Black Mirror, but because that's more modern. No, it wasn't Outer Limits. It was something. Actually, look it up. Look up Rod Sterling TV shows. Well, either way, he was
Fax Machine on the case.
He was directing shows like that, and then he did a TV movie called Duel. And then after Duel, he did a movie called Sugarland Express, which was a full feature length, like a feature film in theaters.
Okay. Was it Night Gallery?
Night Gallery. Okay. Thank you. He did Night Gallery episodes. He was kind of like the I wouldn't say the next big thing, but like there was high hopes for him. Mm-hmm. So then he did, like I said, he did Duel, and that was like a big TV event.
Okay.
And was a success. And then he did Sugarland Express, which was like I said, which was in theaters, and then Jaws was his follow-up to Sugarland Express.
Okay. I'm just looking at it as like
this is
Pink
like Jaws is essentially like his first. It's not his first film, but it's like his first big production.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna compare it to Dark Side of the Moon. It's like Pink Floyd. They had their successes before, but they weren't like the global phenomenon until Dark Side of the Moon. And then it's like, how do you follow up Dark Side of the Moon?
Right.
Like it was so great, but then Wish You Were Here Animals.
I would say, I wouldn't compare this to Pink Floyd because by the time they released Dark Side of the Moon, they were already established.
Right.
Like, and I guess you could say he wasn't established yet when he did this. This is more. If we're going to do a band comparison, I'd say it would be more like. It wouldn't be like Rush, because they were actually on the brink of getting just canceled.
Right.
Or not canceled, but fired essentially.
Right. Yeah. Their first album was a humongous hit. Second one, not so much. Third one was when they started their Down the Tubes tour.
This was more like. Fuck! It's gonna drive me crazy that I can't think of this. Honestly, you wouldn't. I don't think you like this comparison, but I mean, I think this is a good comparison. It's like Pearl Jam. Mm-hmm. Pearl Jam's first record, 10, has sold 12 plus million copies.
Yeah.
Spielberg, but before that, they had Mother Love Bone and Green River. So there was stuff that they were doing, but never on the big scale.
Okay.
They released Jaws. That's 10. Jaws becomes the highest grossing movie of all time. Mm-hmm. But it's only for a couple of years because then Star Wars comes out and replaces him. But before that, it was, I want to say Gone with the Wind, or I don't know what it was before. I think it was Gone with the Wind before Jaws. So think about that. From 1939 to 1975, a movie hadn't done like that kind of box office.
Wow.
And then Jaws destroys it.
Right. And I think Jaws was. I think it that Jaws is the first movie to. It had like 2 records where it broke 100 million.
I think it was the first movie.
200 million.
It was the first movie to make $100 million, I believe.
Yeah, and I think I think they ended up ultimately getting over 200 million. Like it was the first movie to do both.
So pull it up, because I can keep talking about this shit. Look up the adjusted for inflation box office, because if you adjust for inflation, Gone with the Wind is like still the highest today. But I want to say Jaws is actually up there as well.
Highest grossing movies
adjusted for inflation. Yeah, because like Avatar's the number one, I think, or no? Is it Fuck, I can't. You have to look up. Let's look up the number one. It's a good point. It's a good time to do that with this being what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the highest grossing films of all time.
Okay.
And adjusted for inflation, I put in, so it should adjusted for inflation right here. Gone with the Wind is number one. I'll start at number 10 and go backwards.
All right.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Dr. Zhivago is number 9. What the fuck is that? 1965.
I've never seen it.
Number 8 is The Ten Commandments. 7 is E.T. 6, The Sound of Music. 5, Avengers Endgame. 4 is Star Wars, 1977. 3 is Titanic. And then followed by Avatar. Number 1's Gone with the Wind.
Wait, so Jaws isn't even on the list for adjusted for inflation anymore?
No.
Shit, it used to.
Well, that's 2020. So, I mean, but yeah.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yep, it's not on the list anymore. Not in the top 10.
Man, for whatever reason, I thought it was, but I guess I'm mistaken.
Well, it might have just got booted out by, like, Avengers Endgame or something.
Right. So now, what is the highest? What is like the actual box office, like the top? Because they're all modern,
right? So, adjusted for inflation, worldwide gross for a Gone with the Wind, it's $3.7 billion.
Okay, so what's the actual without the inflation, like the actual list?
Okay,
because I want to say it's got to be Avatar or something, right?
By year. Oh, we don't want that.
But
Right.
so, this movie was a disaster to make. Apparently, Spielberg still has nightmares about it. He says he'll wake up. He'll wake up. I mean, and he's a great storyteller, everyone. So he could be exaggerating, but he says he'll wake up like in a panic, thinking he's still there making the movie.
Oh, okay.
They tested the shark. They tested the shark in a tank of fresh water.
Yes.
And then they bring it out to Martha's Vineyard and didn't take into account the salt in the water.
Right.
And it fucking fried all the electronics, all the shit in the shark. So they continually had to keep working on it to try to fix it. And so in a flash of fucking brilliance, Spielberg calls an audible and is like, we're just not going to show the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had to do something. Because
Yeah.
there was so little being done. He almost got fired a bunch of times. So it all kind of tumbles down to the point of like, if he wasn't Sid Sheinberg's boy, he would have been fucking gone. So I guess it's an example of that like kind of Hollywood favoritism shit. But at the same time, he made something that was fantastic. This isn't if this movie bombed like they thought it was going to, then this would be one of those, I think, the stories of like, oh man, they gave this guy the world and they gave him a million chances and he had everything lined up for him on a tee for him to knock it out of the park. Mm-hmm. So this is it,
And then
like
the salt water.
and then, but right. This is one of those cases where like you can look at it like that Hollywood nepotism way, but like he had to make his own way in. He had to fucking sneak in, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then because he was sorry, I'm all over the place here. He was already a prolific filmmaker by the time he snuck into Universal Studios. He was like a home movie maker and was like very talented, like at a young age. He's a fucking what's the word? A prodigy. Steven Spielberg is a filmmaking prodigy that they've been trying to find another one since, and they haven't been able to find a guy that's like him since. There's guys who can do stuff. And like I think I've said it, the most recent guy who has the Spielberg vibes is Peele.
Yeah,
he has Spielberg movies were events that people went to in the theaters, and it was an event. It was like going on the same feeling like you're in line at Disneyland for a theme ride. It's like you were going to an event. You knew it was going to be something that was going to be great, that you were going to talk about, and you were excited.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that still have that sort of that energy for these Marvel movies and stuff, where it's all just like, they're
getting that energy for Marvel,
right?
This isn't like Pat Marvel making his movies. It's it'd be like people getting excited for Universal Pictures, or like how you and I, or as I say, like you and I go like, oh, hey, A24 movie, this should be pretty good. Like,
yeah, this is the individual.
He was a guy who would show up, or his movie would show up in theaters, and people were like, oh fuck, you know,
we have to go see Spielberg's new film.
Shyamalan was supposed to be the new Spielberg, and it didn't happen.
No.
You got guys like Fincher and the Coen brothers and Paul Thomas Anderson, and I know I'm forgetting someone really important, Quentin Tarantino. I know I'm still forgetting more important people, and I apologize.
Tarantino would at least be one I'd say where it's like,
where it's appointment viewing. You have to go to the theaters for. But Tarantino wasn't like Spielberg. There was a thing where it was for adults, but it was also like kids could watch it. Mm-hmm. It's so universal.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, Tarantino's films are a niche thing.
They're a niche thing for like adults and like film geeks, you know, and like teenage boys. But like you can't bring an 8-year-old to go see Django Unchained.
Right.
But you could bring an 8-year-old
to see
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Or I mean, maybe not Schindler's List or The Color Purple.
Or Hook.
But you know, you definitely take them to go see Hook. It's Peter Pan. I mean, anyways, the movie's Jaws. It's 1975. We can keep talking about all this shit during the film.
98% Rotten Tomatoes. And 90%
which is
audience
bullshit.
score.
It should be 100%, 100%.
105%.
And I'll get into it during the film, but any motherfucker who's like, oh, the shark looks fake. Imagine how fake it would look on CGI now. Okay?
Oh, it looked terrible.
Like,
especially since CGI
and if anyone,
gotten
and
worse.
I'm sorry, I could be a snob. You can call me snob, but anyone who could find any CGI shark movie that's made these days to be scary or good,
you know what though?
needs to check themselves.
Sharks look fake in real life. Like they're
monsters.
They're monsters.
They are
robot
monsters.
From outer space.
But like, dude, think about it. Everything under the sea is really fucking weird. Like it's just Jaws has attributed to my fear of open water and like not knowing what's underneath me.
Yep.
Like I get if I'm in a lake long enough, I'll get creeped out not knowing what's underneath me.
Yeah.
But like definitely like I don't go out into like the fucking
you don't venture out on the Pacific Ocean.
Like we could go like when we like last summer it was really hot and we went out in the river and we were like standing in the river. Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah, the
Because,
worst
like,
thing
my
that's gonna
feet
happen
are on,
is
my
a
feet are on
salmon.
the ground and like there's gonna be like salmon flying like going through there, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But like even when I lived by the Great Lakes, I read stories about how through channels bull sharks, ladies and gentlemen, bull sharks can monitor the salt intake. So if a bull shark is in salt water, like in the ocean, it doesn't emit it. Like they have like a gland or something that is able to emit sodium and salt if they need to. So they can get in fresh water and swim in fresh water and be fine. They put off. Yeah, it's this. I'm doing a horrible job explaining the science of it, but I saw this on one of those river monster shows.
Yeah.
Because some guy they teased it like Jaws, where he went swimming into the lake late at night and then disappeared, and they found parts of his body as if he was just Jack the Ripper. And just
Right. It's like what kind
apart.
of creature would do that in a lake?
Right. And so, anyways, what happens is that these bull sharks can get up through the channels and then into rivers or lakes. And they found, I remember they found a bull shark going through the St. Clair River or something once that had come all the way up through like the Mississippi and in the Gulf and everything.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and that's terrifying. And it's like that on that River Monsters thing, it was in Australia, and there are generations of these bull sharks that were just born in this lake, apparently, or they're because that's where they were born at. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they don't even know the salt water. Like, anyways, that So I'm not a fan of open water, and I can give it to Jaws for that one. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so we're on Peacock right now. We're at 000, and we're gonna hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh God, here we go.
Is it a tradition?
A tradition unlike any other. Let's hope that that the audio is actually working right now, because our whole stereo setup is real janky. It's not janky. It was set up perfectly by Tim. We love you, Tim. But the TV and the receiver have a very tumultuous relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like the Gallagher brothers from Oasis. When they work together, they make a very good product. But when they're at odds, here we go. There's sound. We're gonna be good. Oh,
Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss.
The 3 R's.
Mm-hmm. Roy Schneider, not to be Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with James Woods.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Rob Schneider.
No.
And we don't need to talk about the score. It's been talked about to death. It's perfect.
It is perfect.
John Williams knocked it out of the park.
Again.
And well, again, I mean, this has got to be one of John Williams' first big scores.
I guess it would be
before Star Wars.
Yeah, 77 was Star Wars.
But he really did a great job. Famously, Spielberg laughed when he heard it, when he started doing the dun 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 dun. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Oh, he thought it was a joke. Like, oh, that's funny."
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And he's like, "No, seriously." And he kept going, and then it had to like hit him. He's like,
wow.
"Oh."
Not even Spielberg could tell the genius right off.
Right.
The bat.
I mean, and that makes it. That the score makes it. The movie.
Yeah, it's like
it all comes together.
If you've never seen Jaws in your life, you know the melody for Jaws.
It's like it became the theme song for being stalked by something in the water, like especially in the water.
Right.
Something creepy,
something
like
approaching.
Oh, better watch out. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Another great thing about this is like the quality of the picture has gotten better over the years with the advance in HD and stuff because of the transfers from the film. So like saying like when I watched this as a kid and I watched it on cable TV, standard definition, on a VHS tape that I taped off of TNT. Mm-hmm. Like this part here was almost pitch black.
Right.
And like you could see, it's just clear, like kind of like early, because it's supposed to be like early in the morning. The sun's rising, you know. Just beautiful, like the just like
it's like 4 in the morning on a summer.
Yeah, I saw that. I've had the pleasure of watching this in a theater twice, and like if it's something I have to go to, if I see it's playing, I have to go see it.
Yeah.
Oh. In the book, the shark apparently leaps out. There's like this grand, like you think of like a modern movie like today where someone would be in the beginning and then the fucking monster would leap out of the water and, you know, eat them and everyone would go, but then the thrill is gone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Once you make the big reveal at the beginning, then
right.
What do you
and
do?
that was supposed to be the beginning of this movie. The shark was going to, you know, reach out, you know, snag her out, you know, really fast and be this attack, you know. And they thought the idea of like the shark toying with her and like sadistically kind of playing and thrashing her about made it more scary, which is
absolutely true.
But him and Carl Gottlieb were the two that started like rewrite. They would Spielberg and Gottlieb would essentially rewrite. They were writing the script as they went. So every night after they got done shooting, they'd go back to where they were staying and write the next bit of script, or like make changes and stuff.
Yeah. Man, this guy's gonna feel like such a piece of shit when he feels like he was napping. He finds out he was napping while his girlfriend was being mauled.
Well, it wasn't his girlfriend.
Yeah,
he didn't really know her. But yeah.
I mean, what was he gonna do anyway?
Right. The calm. There's like this just calm afterwards. And then just brilliant shit. I mean, like, I'm just going to keep gushing this whole commentary.
That's good. I mean, if we're going to spend the whole movie during old to shit on it, then we should spend the whole whole time on a good movie praising it.
Vamp for a minute. I have to go spit.
Oh, we'll go spit. I couldn't vamp. They were sitting in bed.
That dog is so dead.
That dog's been dead for 45 years. You know, this movie came out the same year as another blockbuster hit that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
What?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh. blockbuster. That's a stretch.
I use that term very liberally and loosely and inaccurately.
How old was Roy Scheider and Richard Dreyfuss? I'm
19?
pretty sure Richard Dreyfuss in this movie is only like 26 years old or something, and he looks not a day younger than 45.
Different times. So Richard Dreyfuss,
What year was he born, Richard Dreyfuss?
he was born 1947.
So he was 28 years old.
Yeah. Wow.
What about Roy Scheider?
Roy Scheider.
He just does such a fantastic job.
32. So he
Jesus
was
Christ,
40.
Oh, wait. 32. Oh, I thought you said he was 32 years old. 32, so this was 75.
Yeah,
43.
so he was 43.
Okay.
At least that makes
He
a little
looks
more
43.
sense. Yeah. Richard Dreyfuss was 28. Holy shit.
I love you just there's just it's just great storytelling. Like they don't rush into it. I love like there's movies that do it very well where they let the viewer in first. They're not creating a mystery here. What we're seeing now is almost a character
She looks like the
study.
girl that was just killed.
We're seeing a character study of a town, the inner workings of an island town.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's really shark out there.
Yes.
But they don't know. They don't know until after the first shark is killed and there's still an attack.
Yes, right.
Richard Dreyfuss is suspicious.
Right, because he's the shark
Because after
scientist.
but like, you know what I mean?
He's a sharkologist.
Like this is just the domino effect, and that's where like where they messed up with the second one. Can I pitch you what makes the movie better or a better movie or
better booking?
I don't know what we actually call it when we do this. Alternate movie, or here's a better movie. I think we usually say here's the better movie or whatever. Here's the better movie for Jaws 2. Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, right? Mm-hmm. That's the tagline. Ha ha, fantastic. They show the shark right away, like. But they essentially do the same. They do the same story, where like the town doesn't believe him and blah blah blah. But there's clearly a shark out there,
Right.
See, look, he's fucking stunned. That's all they needed to do with him. They didn't need to have like this character in a movie today would be like, I can't believe that she was eaten, and like be like speak.
Yeah, right.
His blank stare. And like this, he's the determination. Look at he's a straight shooter chief. He's going off, he's not an island guy, so when he hears shark attack, he's not thinking about the island money. He's thinking, oh fuck, there's a shark attack.
Yeah. Roy Scheider does look more like.
And he's like, listen, so like he's listening to the corner. This is the probable cause of death. Shark attack. He types it in. Mm-hmm. So then he meets with he goes, he sees it. Now he's got to make beach close signs. We got to do something. And then the beach town is not equipped for it. God, it's just, oh God,
fabulous.
It's just good shit. Fuck. I lost. Oh, so the better movie, Jaws 2. You should have never known whether or not there was really a shark.
And have
it should be a thing where like someone drowned. So where then the paranoia of Roy Scheider is what's kicking in, and you are following him. So then his alcoholism and everything that they talk about in that, and he's too drunk to be the chief anymore, and all this stuff. As a viewer, you don't know whether or not he's making up the shark in his mind, like the people must be getting eaten because this has happened before, or is he just the drunk? And then as a director and a writer and everything, it's up to you to decide what way you go.
Right.
But the problem is that when the route they took was they give you shark. Mm-hmm. and he's a drunk, and he's like got PTSD from the last shark, and is paranoid about the shark, and blah blah blah. And yeah, and there is a shark, there is, and everyone's doubting him. So then you're just like, why is everyone, as a viewer, like, why is everyone doubting him? Yeah, sure, he's a drunk, but it's happened before. Like, you guys should all be like, this happened before.
Yeah.
Because if you do it the other way, where you don't know if there's a shark, you don't even have to call it Jaws 2. Like, they do sequels all the time that are sequels with different names, right?
Yeah.
So you could just call it Amity Island.
Right. That's, yeah. Or what's the sheriff's name?
Brody.
It's called Brody.
Chief Brody. And
this is the kind of chiefs we need in real life today.
Yeah. Chain smoking.
Drinking. Friendly.
Trying to crack the case,
Mm-hmm. Like Chief Hopper from Stranger Things. Nowadays, he'd have 45 pounds of ammunition and a Kevlar vest.
So here comes the mayor. A great performance. A great suit jacket with the anchors on it.
Looks like a used car salesman.
On your own authority. That's Carla Gottlieb there, the guy standing behind the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the crony coroner.
Is that the same car I was driving?
I'm pretty sure that's a caddy.
I'm pretty sure it is a caddy, and it's an Eldorado. I'm pretty sure, but it would be, I think, because mine was a 75, so this would have been like a brand new.
They shot this in 74, so I mean,
yeah, but they did the 75
would come out in 74.
Yeah,
boom.
I think this is it. It's same color, maroon.
Yeah, that is the car you were driving.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have a relic from the Jaws set.
That's right.
Yes, a boat propeller. What a cunt.
Yeah.
What a Fauci. I'm just saying, guys, I know this movie isn't real, but look at this. Doctors and people can be compromised.
Right.
To tell
politicians
to tell the narrative of a mayor to try to keep the beaches open for what? Dollars. They need dollars. And if they don't come to Amity, they're going to go somewhere else. So this is great. It's all psychological. Mm-hmm. Barracuda. People go, what? Huh? You yell shark. We got panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Did we mention that it's the 4th of July today as we're recording this?
Well, like I said, this is a tradition I do. I watch this movie once a year.
Yeah.
And yes, it's 4th of July. This is a...
Oh, there's a good one for the...
Yeah.
Shark.
Listen to Spielberg. I've watched the making of this so many times. Listen to Spielberg talk about this scene, and like a lot of people, this scene is really intense.
We never mentioned the Goonies when we were talking about his
he didn't direct that though.
Oh,
that was part of the Spielberg production run. That was like a juggernaut.
Oh, okay.
Like Back to the Future,
Yeah.
Goonies, Poltergeist. I know
Jeez.
there's others. That I'm totally blanking on, but yeah, this scene is just,
Yep.
it's a perfect, and like it's not about the gorehounds love this scene because it's, oh man, like Spielberg killed a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
You never really think about it in terms of like today's movies. Like, they don't really kill a lot of little kids in movies, right? Like, that's what's so shocking about like High Tension, when you hear you see the little kid run out to the cornfield, and then the bad guy like follows him with the gun. You hear the gunshot in the distance, and that's like very disturbing, unsettling, and like, it makes it's just horrible, and it's horrifying.
Yeah.
This is like horrible, horrifying, whatever.
So uncomfortable.
It's a really weird, in the way that Spielberg did it. It's almost not even about the kids. See, like, watch, they're doing this great like shot reshot shit where it's like his view, what he's seeing, then cut back to him.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great film. The little things about the direction of how they film it. Something that just like it was a really neat shot when they got onto the parked onto that ferry, whatever, and then it just starts floating away from the.
Oh yeah.
Floating away from the dock. Just a neat little shot. That's like, nobody really does anything like that anymore. Everything now has got to be like really panicky, shaky.
Yeah.
Lens flares.
Yep. But they take like there's Ari Aster and Robert Edgers and there's a third Jordan Peele. They don't do that. They I feel like they're kind of shit. They're the kind of guys that do.
No, they do. They do really good
composition and shit. And I know that there's cinematographers that work on this shit, but like Spielberg is the kind of guy who, I mean, he sees
he's got the vision.
He's got this vision, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Ari Aster is the same way too. There's cinematographers, but everything's got to go through the Ari Aster filter.
Right. Great shit again. Like it just looks so deep. Like how deep is that water? You know what I mean? Like they're out in like, and so just get terrifying. It's like what's underneath you?
And the further out you go is more terrifying.
Yeah.
It's miles. Like it's miles above your head.
Yeah.
Like you can see.
There's
at this. Clouds.
Look at this.
Oh.
There's actual like black and white shot. The zoom in with the zoom. Oh, so good.
You know what blood looks like in black and white?
So
shadows.
I went to a little lake when I was a little kid. Had been six years old, and I was playing Jaws there, and started running along the beach like him there. Everybody out of the water! Everybody out of the water! And my dad it's like, what are you doing? He's like, stop! Like, you can't do that. People are gonna. I'm like, what? I was playing Jaws. Like,
you can't play Jaws on the ocean.
I was in a lake. I was in a lake.
Okay, well,
but I was going, everybody out of the water. I was doing this scene. Everybody out of the water. And like doing like this, like stomping in the water, like the base of the water. Everybody out of the water. And my dad. Oh man.
I guess at the lake it's not as bad, but
$3,000 bounty. This is great shit. Like she advertising in papers and all this stuff. Oh, it's so good. So good. Just the chaos. It's chaos. And that's exactly
that lady back there reminds me of the Mike TV's mom from
Willy
Wonka.
A little bit, yes.
Rachmaninoff.
I just love, like, he has the balls to just... This wouldn't be a part of the movie right now. They would have just jump cut to them in this room. People don't have the patience to let the people, the townies flood in, and, like, the realism of that, like, the murmur, the chatter amongst the crowd, and you're there with the chief, because the chief is essentially... This is just a show. The chief is helpless to do anything that he wants to... That he knows he needs to do. Mm-hmm. Just, God, it's so good. I can't.
Yeah, patience is something that's really lost in
modern cinema and music.
That's right.
I get so fucking annoyed when people are like, "Oh, your songs are really long." It's like, who gives a fuck if the songs are long? Like, what does that have to do with anything? If you don't have the patience for it, move along. Like,
right. It's yeah.
Fuck. Hold on, I gotta fix the cable.
Yeah, it's also... This is where they introduce Crazy Man, yeah?
Quint.
Yeah, Quint. This is a really good character introduction they do here.
And it's like the mayor is like, he's like a sleazy politician, but even that look in his face there, the only 24 hours, it was like someone who was like trying to seem like he was cool and collected, but was like trying to not have a mutiny on his hands.
Oh. This is the third time I've ever watched this film all the way through.
just such a great choice. I'm gonna eat my chip or whatever I have here and just talk. Oh Lord, how I earn a living.
Another great thing about watching this movie is that there's so much fodder for you to gush about and talk about that I can run away and take a leak at any time.
Oh, he did not get nominated for this movie.
Not even nominated.
Not even nominated. Or wait, did he get nominated? I don't think he got nominated for this.
I'm gonna look it up.
Spielberg got snubbed for Best Director. Jaws got the nomination for Best Picture, but Spielberg didn't even get a Best Director nomination for this. And he was everyone was predicting that he was gonna win. Like Jaws was gonna sweep the Oscars that year, and that Jaws was going to he was gonna win Best Director and it was gonna win Best Picture. He didn't even get nominated, and that was really devastating to him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he didn't win his Best Director until Schindler's List. Chief, ladies and gentlemen, that today would be called a pipe bomb promo.
In wrestling, yeah.
God, I hate that term.
Well, I hate it when it's somebody does a thing, and then anytime somebody imitates it, they just keep using that phrase.
Right. So they close the beach for 24 hours. That sounds. We're only gonna shut things down for 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks, you guys.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that 2 years ago.
Oh, it's only 2 weeks. We're just shutting things down for 2 weeks. Only 24 hours.
Jaws won 3 Academy Awards.
I think it was Best Editing or something.
Best Film Editing, Best Original Dramatic Score.
Yep.
And Best Sound.
Okay.
Nominated for Best Picture, losing to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Was there any others that was nominated for?
BAFTA, it was...
oh, no. So there was no Robert Shaw nomination for Best Supporting Actor?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay. That's what I thought. They did... Spielberg, another thing you gotta give him credit for over the book. The book had all this the mayor was tied up with the mob, so the reason why he didn't want to shut the town down was because there was mob loans that the town owed and shit.
Yeah.
And then they also had Richard Dreyfuss's character in the book has an affair with Roy Scheider's wife, and he knows about it. So Roy Scheider's character, Chief Brody, is more kind of like a cuck bitch or something like that, instead of just a New York man who's scared of water, you know, because that's the main thing. It's you have a chief of an island who's scared of the water, you know, and now he has to deal with a monster in the water.
It's such a great, simple concept too.
Right. Well, and so I was just at the UFC over the weekend in Vegas, and they kept, because Nope was one of the sponsors. So they kept showing a trailer for Nope, and that movie looks great. It's a concept it's a concept movie, just like this is a concept movie, and yeah, it's it's these people trying to catch an alien. It looks like. And that fucking sounds awesome. I can't wait to go see it.
In the water where the guy's afraid to get in there. So Robert Shaw was born in 1927. So he was 48 when this movie came out. He died 3 years after this movie came out.
Yeah, he drank hard. He's one of those old school guys.
Bless his heart. Oh, he's a big Shakespearean actor.
Yeah. I just love what he does here. Just this idea, there's there's so much that explains, but it's not beating you over the head. Because this is what people... This scene... Okay, if you made this movie today kind of thing, this would be him on the internet. He'd be on the internet researching sharks right now. That's a gruesome... I always thought that's the most gruesome thing. Yeah, so gross. The if anyone's just listening to this, I guess, it was the picture in the book where the guy's leg is just completely destroyed.
Dun, 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 dun,
He's taking it.
This is funny.
This was one that I never as a kid didn't appreciate the idea, like he's being dragged under, like I didn't, because again, when I'm watching this, I'm watching it on a VHS tape, standard definition, that was taped off of a TNT, and so it's dark, it's like pitch black, so that the shark comes back for him, but like the genius of the thing turning around,
right?
Like it's just shit that I didn't take in,
Especially, not only are you a kid, but then the shitty
quality. So then you're just like, it's just a dark. That the shark's around because you hear the bump, 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 but you're not really taking into account again that's.
Yeah. When the music plays, the shark is present,
and it's coming, and then like. Oh, so good. It's intense. The shark's almost there. Whatever. They get up. And then...
Silence.
And it's like the shark just let go of the roast or whatever. And so then here, watch. This is great. We're here. Try to catch their breath. So we just saw, and now he's finishing up telling the chief the story of what just happened.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Just great. I just love that. I love little shit like that. It's the shit in movies I geek out about.
Right, and it's stuff that they don't think about nowadays. Where you'd have to go back and the guy have to run to the sheriff's station and explain what just happened in a panic.
Well, and that was like, but he's telling the story. Like you would tell a story in real life where it's like, oh, you hear what happened, and so they're trying to catch, they threw his rope, whatever, and then obviously you get there. So you don't need to like be like, what is he talking about?
Right.
But at the same time, even if you're not paying attention, you like someone who's not, you don't pay attention to details, or they're just watching for the bigger things in the movie. They might not even pick that up. They won't care because they're stimulated by, something new is happening. What's going on? The dynamite.
Oh, there he is. This is baby Dick Dreyfuss.
This Canadian tuxedo.
He's Canadian?
No, but he's wearing a Canadian tuxedo.
Okay, makes sense. I mean, he does look like a young man just with a beard. Looks like an Oregonian. There you go. Just have to talk to these out-of-towners.
Oh, this is great shit.
That's a great idea for the Jaws sequel that you have.
Oh, the Brody, like,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, because they were able to get Roy Scheider back for the sequel, so he was able to be in it.
Yeah.
Like, and all these people came back besides Dreyfuss. Spielberg didn't do it. Spielberg almost did it, but they wouldn't let him do the movie he wanted to do.
Why wouldn't they?
Let him do the movie he wanted to do?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to do they wanted to do Jaws 2, they wanted to do Jaws again.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do Jaws again. He wanted to do another movie. He was more interested in doing a movie about the USS Indianapolis and the shark attacks during that.
Okay.
From the speech that Quint tells on the boat.
Okay.
And that's what he wanted to do. He said, I will do this as the sequel. But they wanted to do Jaws, again, and she's just in a fucking tote. Her remains are in a tote.
You got the tote? Which one? One with the dead girl.
The probable boating accident.
The probable. The jargony.
And he's just.
That's great.
I'm trying to keep the volume at a level so we don't get dinged with like a copyright, but I feel like I need to have it louder.
I know, it needs to be a little louder.
Oh my god. Gruesome.
Horrid.
Indicates the non-frenzied feeding of a large squalus, possibly Longimanus or Asurus glaucus. Now, the enormous amount of tissue loss prevents any detailed analysis. However,
Again, he's not showing anything except he gave you a glimpse
Right.
of the art, but he's not showing anything.
You're not seeing the mutilated, massive corpse of a dead woman.
Which is what you would be seeing today.
The rest is up to your imagination.
It wasn't Jack the
Especially by the way
Ripper.
he's describing everything.
It was a shark.
it was a shark.
God, good shit. And then, so the very first
That
time,
looks fantastic.
the very first time I ever saw this, I believe this was actually a real shark. They brought it up from like the Gulf,
Oh, okay.
and it was like rotting, and so they had to like
Did it hurt him?
preserve it. Yeah,
Did he just kick it?
yeah, they were kicking it. Yeah, because that killed the little boy.
Little piece of shit.
So check this out. First time I see this, the jump to that, I'm like 7. Or well, no, I can't remember the first time I saw. I'm pretty sure because I told that story that I was running on the beach, going people out of the water. I think I saw it when I was like 6 years old or 7 years old, around that time. So when I saw the movie, and I'm like, I didn't tell my grandma, I didn't say this, but essentially my reaction was, "What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? There's a shark right there. The movie's over, Grandma."
That's fucking it?
I've told this story before, but it's like, what the fuck? What, and she's like, just keep watching. I'm like, the shark is, I think you said the shark was going to eat a bunch of people, because you want to see that as a little kid.
Right. That's fascinating. And now it's over.
But now it's over. It's
They
like,
have the shark.
what happened now? I thought this was a good movie, Grandma.
I'm going to run to the pisser.
All right, go for it. Burger's taking a piss, so you're here with me. Oh, the joy. They think they got it. I mean, it's a big shark. I mean, it's a tiger shark. A what? You can't blame them for thinking that this might have been the shark. I mean, I guess if you have your expert come in and he's saying like it's probably not the shark, we should dissect it. It could be. We will know, but the only way to know is to do this. There's an avoidance of ignorance. No, I can't say that. There's a good example of, yeah, I guess there's ignorance there, but it's not ignorance, it's a naivete. And maybe they're both the same and these are just like synonyms of each other. But like the town, like with the chief, he's like, "Well, this is a shark. Of course it's a shark because it's a monster shark and we caught it. It's in our waters and we caught it. So of course." And you have, Richard Dreyfuss saying, "Hey, we need to be sure. We want to be sure." And you have the mayor going like, "Fuck this! You're not cutting this open." And with this, because this is the shark, and when you cut it open and that little kid just pours out onto the fucking dock, that's going to be a gruesome scene, and I don't want to have that on my head as a politician. They avoid a trope that happens in movies where the town is just ignorant, where it's like, oh, we're dumb and we don't believe the smart people because they're wrong. There's motive behind why he's apprehensive of cutting open the shark and like doubting it. He wants the optics of it being a success. We caught the shark. We can move forward now. The beaches can be open. The chief obviously wants the shark to be gone because he wants everyone to be safe. And Hooper's like, hey, we gotta figure this out. We gotta figure it out. We have to figure it out in order to know. And there's a way we can tell. So like again, it's not just this like dumb, like, oh, we're dumb and we don't, we're stupid. And then it's like, as a viewer, you're like, God, these people are so dumb.
Right.
Why are they running upstairs? Why are they going to camp at the lake that the killer supposedly is
it's like
killing people?
that commercial they used to do for like Geico or whatever, where it's these teenagers that are running away from the psycho killer. Like, oh, let's get into the running car. And he's like, no, we gotta hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah, exactly.
Why does this 75-year-old woman have a 10-year-old son?
That's 1975, 38. I just want you to know that. Apparently, like, she had to slap him over and over again. Like, it was like a scene that so finally she, like, because she was, like, holding back or something.
Yeah, that hit looked like a little nasty hit.
She's wrong. No, she's not. It's like the mayor is, yep, cut her down before it stinks up the whole town.
It already has.
Dump it in the drink.
Go bury him in the yard before he stinks up the place.
And like, again, another iconic kind of scene in the Jaws world is this scene of his son mimicking him.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit, man. This is a good movie.
It's a very good movie.
And to think, as they're making this, the whole time they're thinking they're making the biggest bomb of all time, like the biggest disaster.
Yeah, this is just an epic failure.
He was almost replaced multiple times by other directors from the studio. They went over budget. It was going to be a 60-day shoot that ended up being 131 days or something.
It helps.
Or maybe it was a 90. It was like a 60 or 90-day shoot. It was in the double digits and ended up being over like 131 days. Like, just this. Yeah, they had to push back the release.
It helps to be buddies with the Bergs in Hollywood. So the mom of the little boy.
Yeah.
She's just died in 2020.
Oh, wow.
At age 91.
Wow.
She was born in 1929, which would have made her 46.
Oh, wow. Okay. Matt Hooper.
So, yeah, her ovaries are probably functioning. I guess that would make sense.
Let's see. So she was, you said what?
46.
And
I don't know how old the boy
Alex Kintner was 8 or 9 years old. 10 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
She was probably, went to college in the late 60s. Didn't have a kid until... Well, no, I would have made her... Never mind, I don't know. I'm way off on the math. She wouldn't have been in the college in the 60s. She would have been 30.
What was the little boy's name that died?
Alex Kintner.
Oh, that's nice.
He just comes in and just starts just wolfing down the food.
My husband tells me you're in sharks.
There's just this looming...
Alex Kittner's real name is Jeffrey Voorhees.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah.
his brother Jason.
He was born in 1962, so he was 13.
So while he was getting eaten by a shark in Amity Island, his brother Jason was drowning in the lake at Camp Crystal Lake.
So this is the mom of both Jason and...
Well, no, we see in Friday the 13th that Jason's mom is the killer.
Right.
So,
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
Spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie. Spoiler alert. Luke Skywalker blows up the Death Star in the end.
Yeah, so the looming, we need to get the shark. Hooper knows.
And probably not the shark that killed the little boy. Which I wanted to prove today by cutting the shark open. But you know, you want to let that breathe for... No.
Oh, there's a nice hint to his alcoholism.
Yeah. What is that?
But
What are they drinking?
That's wine. He brought.
So, you're going to be the only rational man left on this island after I leave tomorrow.
Where are you going?
I am going on the Aurora.
Aurora, what is that?
It's a floating asylum for shark. It's pure research, 18 months at sea.
Martin gets water. Martin sits in his car. Martin is afraid of the mainland. Yes, it's a childhood thing. It's clinical info, isn't there?
Drowning. There's a clinical name for it, isn't there? Drowning. Oh.
Before people started to swim for recreation, before sharks knew what they were missing, and a lot of these attacks weren't reported.
That's right.
Now this shark that
Oh man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You gotta say something because I'm just
Well, I was just looking up his wife.
Lorraine Gary.
Lorraine
Yeah,
Gary.
she was married to one of the producers, and
Oh.
and she was. That's kind of the reason why
She also appeared in 1941.
cut that shark open.
because she's married to one of the producers. I think she might have been Sid Sheinberg's wife. Wasn't she Sid Sheinberg's wife?
Well, let's see.
Or she was some producer's
Her
wife. Robert Zan.
Sidney
Robert,
Sidney Sheinberg.
Yeah, Sid
Yeah.
Sheinberg. Yeah. So that's why she was in this. That's why she was in 41.
I
She
see.
also starred in Jaws: The Revenge, which is like the worst one. She's the one that's paired with Michael Caine.
She's also still alive.
Oh.
Not a girl.
Here we are at the boat, the docks, cutting open the shark. Look at all that milk, that ooey white goo coming out of it.
Oh.
Hey, delicious fish.
I know, it looks good. He should have
Can't-
changed his clothes. He should have put on a Tyvek suit.
Gulf Stream, Southern Waters, Louisiana.
Oh, she was retired from acting like 50 years ago.
Well, yeah, she's not a good.
Well, like 40 years.
She's not a good actress. She's pretty bad. No kid.
That's it.
Gotta close the beach, call the mayor.
Got a bigger problem than that, Martin. Still got a hell of a fish out there.
God, it's fucking good shit.
This big.
Then when again first viewing of this at this right now, I was like, oh, my girl was like, see, I told you, keep
Yeah.
watching.
See, that's how movies are written for 7-year-old Kirk nowadays. That's how.
Right?
Well, we don't want the children to think the movie's over at this point. We don't. We got to keep them engaged. We have to have a shark that's as big as the Empire State Building.
And needs to leap out of the water and needs to be grand and
But
be
we need
CGI.
but we need to show them within the first 8 minutes of the movie.
You know, it sucks because like nowadays, like there's been a few attempts to do like Muppet movies. Like they did that that Muppet movie with fucking Jason Segel, and then they did one with it wasn't John Mulaney, was it? Well, look up the most recent Muppet movie that was released. But then they also did that puppet movie that was where they cussed and they were like puppet
I
fucking
saw
and that
yeah.
kind of shit.
I've heard of it.
But like when was the last movie that? I mean, there might be some, and I'd like someone to point me in the direction. But where they use
Lady Gaga? Was she in the?
I don't know.
I just put in.
Isn't it like it was like Muppets Most Wanted? Or
yeah,
something
right
like that.
here.
Was it Colin Jost? So there was someone. It was someone like SNL guy that was like.
There is Ricky Gervais. I'm just reading through the cast here. Muppets Most Wanted. It was
What?
2014.
Who starred in it?
Ricky Gervais, Ty Burrell from
Right.
Modern Family, Tina Fey,
Tina Fey. Okay.
Steve Whitmore, Dave Goelz, Bill Beretta, David Redman, Peter Linz.
Okay, so it's probably Ricky Gervais. Ricky, they kept trying to revive the thing with
Zach
the different
Galifianakis
stars.
is in it.
Well, the thing about the Muppets is there was always cameos. So that's what I was trying to say. Like, who was like the
Right.
main star of it? It must have been Ricky Gervais. I never saw it.
Oh, Ray Liotta, bless his heart, rest in peace.
My point is, they do these puppet movies, but they don't do movies where they use puppetry instead of fucking CGI. Mm-hmm. And it's like, CGI works when you use it to help hide the blemishes, not as a crutch.
Yes.
You like fucking Jurassic Park worked because they use both puppets and CGI. Mm-hmm. And like they don't do that anymore these days, and I want that to be a thing. I want people to stop using CGI.
Relying totally on CGI makes everything look phony. So
it makes it look
to me, it
so
takes
fake.
me out of
it takes me
everything.
out of it. I can't watch Marvel movies because I can't get over the fact that it's just an actor in front of a green screen.
Yeah, the whole time.
There's no skill. There's no like scenery. So like the set, it means nothing because it's all just generated. It's generated. It's not real. There's no depth.
Mostly my problem with those movies is the same thing with all the. I've mentioned this before, but every Star Wars movie that's come out that I've gone to see in the last 23 years or whatever the whatever that fucking one was.
The
Phantom Menace. Yeah, I fall asleep. I start dozing off and I fall asleep during every single one of them.
The problem with
I fell asleep during the first time I tried to watch Transformers. Was that 2007 or whatever the fuck? I fell asleep on the floor, on the hardwood floor, because it was so. I don't know if it was boring or if it's just sensory overload. But I end up I can't take it, and I start passing out.
Because nothing means anything in those movies. Like, you're watching them, like when you're watching for Star Wars, for example, The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. Like, you know the end game is Darth Vader. You know that's the end game.
Yeah.
So while you're watching them, you're essentially just killing time. It's 2.5 hours of killing time to get to Revenge of the Sith, which is the Darth Vader. The whole reason why you're even watching it.
Nothing is consequential when you know, especially when you know there's a trilogy.
Yeah.
And you know that this is the first movie in the trilogy. You know nothing is consequential.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes the first.
Oh. It's terrifying.
I could talk about this scene. This is one of Spielberg's favorite. Like, they went actually into this was not filmed in the ocean. This was filmed in a tank in like a pool, to get that last scare. Because there's like the original cut didn't have like there was something missing from that cut. Like there were like the timing wise, the head popping out or something. And he's like, I got one more scare I can get. So then when he saw an audience, he was like so happy with it because he was like, I got another scare out of him.
That's cute.
But my point is, that, so like when we go to see The Force Awakens, you know there's going to be 2 more after that.
Yeah.
So like when I saw that in theaters, I'm like, there's nothing of consequence really happening. It's all just it's setting
Right,
up
at
the
least-
table. It's like you know that Adam Driver is the bad guy, and so you already know you know that they're not gonna by establishing that character, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So like, what of consequence is really going to happen until the 3rd movie?
Yeah. At least with the original Star Wars, it's like
Well, that's what I was saying. Good, thank you. I was going to say this a couple minutes ago. With the original Star Wars, it wraps itself up.
yeah.
You can watch it as a standalone movie, and it wraps itself up. It's like, oh, they didn't kill Darth Vader, but he's spiraling off into space. They blew up the Death Star. So, if anything, he's just going to be some random bad guy who's by himself now. He doesn't have the whole empire or whatever.
Yeah. I think I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but something I've read where it's like this thing with the shark here in Star Wars. I think there was only something like 8 minutes that Darth Vader was on screen.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was always a looming force over the whole
Yes.
movie, but he was only physically on screen for something like 8 minutes or something, like an extraordinarily short amount of time. And he was iconic immediately.
Yeah,
Boba Fett's another one of those things. Everybody loves Boba Fett. Boba Fett spent
but that's
very little time on.
Boba Fett was.
I mean, it comes
Boba
into like
Fett is the
third
example
movie or
of
whatever.
like when you use wrestling, where it's like these wrestling nerds geek out over Orange Cassidy because it's like they geek out about Boba Fett, but really like you only see him for like a couple minutes, but like everyone was like, "Oh, Boba Fett's so cool, man!"
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything
He doesn't do anything of consequence.
that matters,
You're just picking to like him because he's a guy,
right? Or
You know?
because he's it's like
it's
one of those
it's a
nerd
mysterious
things.
it's a nerd thing where it's like, oh, it's this mysterious character, who like you don't really know. There's a whole lore about him, and he's
Right.
yeah.
So I was getting into this argument with a friend it was the same type of thing that we talk about with wrestling, where it's like I was bitching about the new Star Wars movies, and he's like, and how certain shit didn't make sense. What, Leia now uses the Force, and she like floats out of space and then back into the ship that's just been, I don't understand. It's like, yeah, but the comics and the graphic novels they're all part of the lore, and it's like, but I don't care. I'm going to see the movies.
No, exactly.
Like as a casual Star Wars watcher, and I basically
there should not be what there should not be things of consequence that happen on the main presentation that you need to know minute backstory details that you have to search out and be like ultra invested.
Right.
The people mistake Easter eggs like for like plot telling or story telling.
Sure.
Like you don't like it happens in wrestling, like you said, where it's like, oh well, if you watch BTE on YouTube, you would know why he's doing this. It's like, no, the stuff they do on BTE should only be little Easter egg things that you see on the main product, so then it pays off for the fans that actually watch that.
But
shit.
then it doesn't
but it doesn't affect
the
the people who
casual
don't
viewer.
care about the other
Yeah.
shit.
Right. Or people who don't even know that exists. You're
Right.
flipping through television and you're like, oh shit, wrestling. I watched this when it was good.
But wait a minute, why is this guy? I've been watching for a couple weeks, and I don't understand why this guy's all of a sudden doing this thing now. Oh well, and he has no one to explain it, so he goes, "That's dumb. They don't know what they're doing," and he turns it off.
Yep.
And then, oh well, actually, if you watch on their YouTube show, and then don't.
I like the visual thing you just did. So when you made that impression of pushing your glasses up against your non-existent glasses up on the bridge of your nose. Well, actually, click. That was funny. Well, actually, and then you snort. Like, you couldn't have been more offensive.
Yeah. There's author Peter Benchley, the man who actually wrote Jaws.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's an Easter egg.
Right. That's not. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
Or in the case of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, they did some kind of a Easter egg hunt on set during Easter, and then there's an Easter egg that you can see in
Oh, okay.
under Frankenfurter's chair. I think that's the legend. I always forget to look for it when I watch the movie.
Just no one's in the water. Hey, get your fucking ass out in the water.
Come on.
Go swim. Well, Larry, there's a fucking shark out there, man. I'm not gonna go out.
Right, he's too embarrassed to say there's a shark. We caught the shark. Come on.
Get the fuck out there.
Couldn't there be more sharks?
Well, and just everyone knows. Look at the forlorn look in her face.
Well, the mayor said, "Come on, kids." The mayor said, "Get in the water."
This is like being this is what I imagine it's like going to Mexico, where it's like you're on the beach, but there's just like armed guards like guarding a perimeter.
It's like North Korea when it's like you're required by law to go to the ocean for 3 hours a day.
Oh,
But then there's this whole buoy, like you can't go beyond the buoys.
right. That's like how here.
It's like 8 feet. Yeah. Stop at the buoys. Any resident caught trying to go past the buoys will be shot on sight.
The water was like really cold apparently.
Oh, okay.
It's like the water was like very. Like they'd be out
So
in
what
the
happens
water
when
like
you
freezing.
take too long to film? It's October now.
Well, no, they were filming. They were filming in like springtime, like it was like March or April.
Mm.
All right, the ponds for old ladies. This is great.
What was he saying to us?
They're about to take the boat out into the water here, and he's like, "Hey, go into the pond." And he's like, "The pond's for old ladies." And he's like, "We'll do it for the old man." He's like, "All right."
Attaboy.
I just saw Lorraine Gary's nips through her swimsuit, I think, and
Nice.
I liked it.
Oh yeah?
I think I liked what I saw.
She's not really my type. I think she's the third old
She's-
lady in the last 24 hours who you've expressed interest for. Last night was Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah, and
And
the dry cleaner lady.
I think maybe Susie.
Oh, Susie,
Iceland?
I didn't do that. Yes, you're right. Oh.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is full of these.
I did not express interest in Lorraine Gary. I just liked the nipples I saw through her. Yeah.
That's like if I'm not interested in Richard Dreyfuss, but I like the bulge I saw.
Okay,
That just doesn't make sense. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in somebody's bulge who I don't want to have sex with.
I'm a fan of boobs. I like boobs.
If I see a bulge, I might examine it temporarily.
Ooh,
But I'm
there's
not
a fin.
gonna be-
There's a
I'm not
fin.
gonna
You
like
see a
it.
fin. Did you see that through the helicopter? I
don't-
never noticed that before.
I don't think I did.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
wow, that was great. The guy looks like that guy. I always thought looked like John Ritter.
Oh my god, he looks identical to. It's such a lame story, but looks identical to my boss's next door neighbor that I did a big job for.
Yeah.
They look like they're twins. The same mutton chops, the
Oh,
same
wow.
like sort of kind of receding hairline,
With
but
the
then
slick.
mullet-ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's a guy who drinks 47 Budweisers a day.
Panic! Panic! Fire!
Yeah.
Fire! Fire!
Everybody out of the water!
Ah! Just trampling
the fourth
children.
wall? Did she look
Just
directly into the
trampling
camera?
children. Look at that guy just dumps these
I know.
kids over and steals their raft. Oh. Ah. Oh, this is great.
Oh, what a heel!
There's no, and what the best thing? There's no music. It's just the screams and the.
Because there's no shark.
All right, but like they could have been some sort of score going on right now.
Sure.
But they're not.
Yeah. Excellent choice.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think this is a perfect movie.
It's just, oh. And Michael's in the pond. And then you find out it's fake. If it was nowadays, these two would have already had bullets in their head. They would have not held off.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Look, his teeth are chattering. It's like, if it's summertime,
Yeah,
why are
yeah.
you so cold?
Well, he's,
obviously it's the ocean.
he's terrified because of the guns that are being
yeah.
aimed at him. And kayfabe, that's what was
Kayfabe.
happening.
Right.
We always try to keep kayfabe when we watch these films.
Uh-oh. And then you got this hippie chick. There's shark. Shark. Going in the pond. Shark. Michael's in the pond.
Michael's in the pond.
You see what you've done?
It's in the pond. Someone do something. God, great shit. And it just sinks below.
Sinks.
Hey.
All these kids are all on Social Security now.
Now, you're right.
Receiving monthly AARP membership notices.
This guy. Oh. Oh, so
Oh,
good.
my
So
Lord.
good.
Great shit.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
finally
great
you get a
shit, right,
decent
and then
glimpse.
leg, gruesome. The blood, just so good. Such good shit. Fuck. So good. So good. And it's like he set the table with all this terror, and now the movie's about to become like a pirate movie, like an adventure, a fishing movie.
Right. It's sort of it changes genre.
It changes genre in the middle. That's another thing that makes it where it's like there's no rules. Like it's an event. There's so much going on, you know.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be
You have
any
the
one thing.
suspense and the thrills and the horror and
The adventure.
and then you have the adventure. You have the family dynamic. It used to go to commercial right here on my tape. That's before I got the VHS, the 20th anniversary.
What was the commercial?
25th
Do you remember?
anniversary. No. So I do remember. So my tape I had was off of a 1995 20th anniversary special viewing of Jaws on TNT. And it would go to commercial, but in between either going into commercial and coming back from commercial, there would be like facts or like interview clips.
Mm-hmm.
A little interview clip and a little fact, and then come back into the movie. And that was then the 25th anniversary was 2000, and I got the double tape,
Okay.
like with the making of
Right,
VHS.
right.
I still have that. I think it's right. It's actually down there. You can go grab it right now if you want to. I see it right down there in our. I'm pretty sure. Isn't it right down there? There it is.
Double VHS.
I also have the DVD edition, and I have the Blu-ray.
Over 75 minutes of bonus features.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this was the 25th anniversary?
yeah. And I think I have the 30th anniversary DVD and the 40th anniversary Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray because it had a very specific documentary along with it. called "The Shark Is Still Working." It's like a fan documentary, and it has a bunch of interviews. Actually, I think, and then my sister got me an anniversary DVD of it for Christmas one year, when the Blu-ray was around. So I might also have the 40th anniversary DVD.
Okay. It'll be 50 in 3 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of special. He's determined.
Some special NFT you can buy or something. Maybe they'll do Jaws coin for the 50th anniversary.
NFTs, God. You get dinner when you get back. Here's the swimming with bow-legged women. Oh,
What's that supposed to mean?
he's just an old sailor. It's just weird. They say weird shit.
Yeah.
I love how and I mean, why wouldn't you? But I love how the assumption from Quint is that, yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to go out there for a couple hours, a few days, maybe a day, catch it, come back, and I'll get my dinner and my brandy and all that shit. And yet, I know who he is.
I wasn't expecting it to be so powerful.
Well, no, I
Elusive.
just, he knows, he called it, you know.
Yeah.
But he's also, some people would say he had a death wish.
Right.
I
Maybe he
don't-
knew
I'm
it was
not-
going to be his final.
Well, yeah, that's like the Captain Ahab
Hurrah.
part of him, you know. There's a lot of, you know, Quint is Captain Ahab from Moby Dick.
Yeah. Moby what?
It's Moby Dick.
You didn't say how short you wanted it.
He does it and then throws it to him, and he doesn't even look at it. Give me your hands.
Dogfish. You got $5,000. You got $2,000 worth of fish. And along comes Mr. White. By the time
Look at all that gray in Dreyfus's beard.
Yeah,
this is good enough for a paper doll.
you got city hands.
City hands, Mr. Hook.
Counting money your whole life.
They got shitty hands.
Hey, I don't need this. I don't need this working class hero crap.
Here we go.
This aboard the ship, are you?
This is like great wrestling. It's like you have a triple threat going on, about to go on. Your hero's in the middle,
It's my charter.
torn.
It's your charter. It's your punch.
It's hard to do a good triple threat match.
You're on board my vessel. Hey, master, pilot. I'm captain.
And I'm Captain.
Ah, God.
Take him for ballast, chief. Got him. Straight gun. Get in that. Nobody's place and one from me flips handy to me.
But he's nobody's hero.
There's his little, like, matey. That guy doesn't go with him. Oh, it was. It's a very it's a very old school, new school thing that it's a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing a harpoon and some rope, and you're bringing a cage and a bunch of gadgets and doohickeys.
When I was a boy, every little squirt wanted to be a harpooner or a sword fishing. They got here. Portable shot or a monkey cage. Anti-shark cage.
Anti-shark cage.
You go inside the cage.
Cage go in the water.
You
You go in the water. Sharks in the water. Our shark. Farewell and adieu to you, fair Spanish lady. Ah.
You have seen this movie once or twice.
I have. I'm sorry. It's just iconic. It's just great. A lot of tension between those 2 in real life.
Real life too, yeah.
Yeah.
I put an extra pair of glasses in your
Why did they have issue? Why did they have issues with each other in real life?
It was just that was like, it's kind of similar to what their issues in the movie. It was like this thing like where Dreyfus felt that need, like he was just getting tormented by Shaw, and Wright just felt like Dreyfus felt like he needed to stand up for himself.
Was he doing it in like a weird actor's way where it's like,
That's what it. I think ultimately that's what kind of came out to.
like I've heard of people doing that
Yeah.
where they'll try to kind of annoy and like piss off their coworkers that they're acting with because they want there to be some kind of real tension when they're on set.
Right.
That's sort of palpable from the audience. Like you can tell that
And sometimes
they have issues with each other.
sometimes it like works in a way where like afterwards the two have like a closer bond, and it's like, I love that man, like blah blah blah, and then there or woman,
Yeah.
sorry, or sometimes it goes opposite where it's like, fuck that asshole,
Yeah.
like
They'll just for 40 years they'll talk about what a piece of shit they are.
yeah.
It's like George Takei and William Shatner. They hate each other.
Why'd they hate each other?
I don't remember. It was just like, I think George Takei just thinks that William Shatner thought he was hot shit, and just so it's like, I think he said, and then Shatner wasn't invited to his wedding or something. So that I don't know. There's this weird thing where it's like they both hate each other. It's like Cornette and Russo, but one of them is overtly like, of course I hate him. He's a piece of shit. And the other guy's like, I try my best to, I just want to be friends.
That's William Shatner.
I think so. I think it's.
I feel like George Takei, with his stint on Howard Stern, he was probably more the one like, fuck William Shatner. Oh.
Yeah, but I think it's more just like because George Takei never really did anything besides Star Wars. Or
Right.
Star Trek, I mean.
Well, no, he that's why later in life he got famous for being on Howard Stern.
Right, but he never,
And being
as far as
gay.
his acting career,
Right.
it's like he sort of stumbled into other random little successes, and then he was one of these gay spokesmen in like the early 2010s or whatever.
Great. Wait on. Sorry. He was talking. He did good. He did good foreshadowing with the barrels. He's talking about, I had this one off Montauk. I had to put 2 barrels in them, to wear them out and one to bring them up or whatever.
Mhm.
And then you see later when they do shoot the barrels in the shark, how there's eventually like 3 of them, and he drags them down no problem.
Yeah.
It's just good shit like that. Like if you're paying attention and you're like, oh fuck, it's a little detail.
Well, that's why.
Here's
you
another detail right
yeah,
here.
right there.
Boom.
There you go.
Just listen to me, Chiefy. I can tell you. There's no one. Might eat it, I suppose. Chief is soaking us in. And Robert Shaw. He respects authority. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's obviously the man there. You know what I mean? But like,
Right,
instead
it's
of
his
demeaning
vessel.
the chief, because of the respect of him being the chief of police,
That's
it's
right.
like
He respects
just,
rank.
he respects rank.
Yeah.
That's a lost. I respect rank.
I
feel
respect
like-
rank.
yeah.
It's a gentlemanly thing.
It's a very
like,
gentlemanly thing, and that's
It takes a lot to get to a position like that.
Right.
It's like,
and I feel like it also takes a lot to respect rank. I think too many people have bad attitudes when it comes to that sort of stuff.
well, it's like the thing about having a problem with authority, which
Right.
I have a problem with blindly following authority.
Don't blindly follow authority, but like,
But if somebody is deserving of respect or hasn't
hasn't done anything,
unearned
right? Hasn't
respect.
unearned. There isn't a reason for Quint to not trust the chief. It'd be interesting to see how Quint would talk to the mayor, Because I bet you Quint sees through the mayor's bullshit. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's when he's like, I love this part. He's like hooking in slowly. He gets himself nice and ready. He's like, I'm about to reel this son of a bitch in. Right. Here he goes. I got it. Wah! Great shit. Great shit. The timing. It's timing there. That's like that's the equivalent of a great like pause in a song. Bump. Like, you know.
Right. Where this, yeah. One of the things people don't get about music very well is like silence can be just as important as the music if it's placed properly.
Yes. Sometimes there's more said in the absence of noises than there is with chaos. Imagine how quick cut this would be today.
Shaky,
and like cut, right?
Yeah, nothing breathes.
Nothing breathes. Let some shit breathe. Like, you have to let your balls breathe. Everyone knows that, or your crotch. Everyone's crotch needs to breathe sometime, you know? And like, we do that, but why don't you let your music or have the patience for your music or your movies to breathe?
I think your analogy makes
what doesn't need to
about
breathe?
breathing balls.
You know what doesn't need to breathe? Because the medium is television. And yet now they're using they take more time to let things breathe on television
Too much
than they do with actual music, where all of a sudden now it's like or movies. So when you go to a movie, you're going there and it's supposed to be a 90-minute, 100-minute, 2-hour, 2.5-hour event that you're going to. And now you're doing TV shows where you're just dragging everything out, and everyone loves that shit.
Yeah. Yes, like I get like what we were talking about earlier with Star Wars. It's the same thing with Stranger Things. As soon as season 4 started, they're like, "There's gonna be a season 5." It's like, okay, so now I know there's not gonna be a lot of resolution. Here.
Resolution
And every episode is between an hour and 20 minutes to 2 hours and 20 minutes.
And if you know there's no resolution, then why are you going to invest the time in it? That's a lot of my problem. That became my problem with, like, I always say Dexter ruined me, because like there was only a certain. Oh,
nice. See, City Boy.
City Boy, don't know what you're talking about.
Silly bitch.
Hey, Stingray. Bit through this piano wire. Gaming fish, eh? Marlin, Stingray.
Is that English?
Bit through this piano wire.
It's like trying to watch old 70s British comedies. Like, what the fuck is this language?
Don't have it. Great line. I did prove one thing, Mr. Hooper. You college-educated boys aren't smart enough to admit when you're wrong. Whatever the fuck he said. It was good. That was good.
It's never been truer as it is today.
It's like
some of the dumbest people on the planet are college educated.
Another brilliant is like you see, like Quint was in control. Now he's still in control, but he's like game on. Now he's like, okay, game on right now. And then he's gonna get to a point when they see the shark and everything where it's like, oh fuck. And like you start to see like the demeanor in the boat, where then it becomes a matter of survival with Quint and Dreyfuss and Scheider, where this whole boat rank and everything goes away.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
drop the ranks.
The panic, Hooper, quit playing with yourself and drive the boat. He's bossing. They're bored. slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. This is oh, here we go. Are you ready, everyone? Stop playing with yourself, Hoopa.
Playing
Slow ahead.
solitaire. He's playing with himself. That's cute.
Slow ahead.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
This is a great
The
part.
big moment. I can go slow ahead. Chips of this shit. Oh. The immediate like, oh. And his eyes, and he kept doing this. So this was an ad lib. It's famous, the most famous line from the movie. He was doing that as he kept doing that as a joke, like, and during takes and stuff throughout the whole movie. And
Roy Scheider?
Yeah, like
Okay.
he ad libbed that. Here we go. Shark's working. Look at the look of terror in Quint's eyes. God, this is great.
Mr. Confidence.
Right. And like Dreyfus is like, holy shit.
Wow.
See, is it fake? Yeah, but it's real. They're looking at something.
I mean, it doesn't look fake to me.
Oh, great score. Oh, this is perfect. We're going to need a bigger boat, right? We're going to get a bigger boat, right? Oh, God. He's circling the boat. Oh, slip. Oh, great
Ugh.
shit. Great shit. Great shit. And he's just getting ready. I'll try and get pictures.
What?
Oh. Oh.
And maybe this Robert Shaw would have got the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor that he deserved for this role, he might not have died of alcoholism 3 years later.
I think he was
Like,
on pace for that, according to this. Like, so there would be there was one day, his big like monologue day. He showed up and he was just like fucking shit drunk, and they got nothing, and he was like really ashamed of himself. And he showed up the next day and did it, and like knocked it out of the park, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a nice redemption story.
Yeah. And here it comes. Opa. Opa. Shark dart. Don't wait for me. Tie it on, Hoopa. Oh, shit. God, this is intense. Kill it. Kill it.
Excellent.
Damn it. Oh, now he's like, we gotta get him. Now the chase is on. So good, right? You can so tell it's John Williams. Like he has such a specific, like when he gets that grand,
Yeah.
like you could tell me this was Star Wars, like blindfolded me and told me
Right.
it was Star Wars at that moment. I'd be like, okay, I guess if you just play, like if it was the dozen and like, I'm gonna play you 2 seconds. What movie is this from? Oh, that sounds like John Williams. Is that Star Wars? No, it's Jaws. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Of course.
So close.
Great
Good
shot. Great shot.
Jinx.
Oh.
That was great. That was perfect timing. You're gonna go back and listen to that and hear how fucking fantastic our timing was when that happened.
That's another great shot. Oh, the look on his face.
Mm-hmm. Very Willy Wonka-ish.
Yeah. This is very like something from like Some Like It Hot or something.
But like you could tell, you could make a story or imagine if you were to listen to John Williams soundtracks without really knowing the movies. It's like when that music's playing, you're like, okay, so there's like
Something's
victory
happening.
here. There's very triumphant.
Yeah.
And when Jaws is but if you never saw Jaws before in your life, you know it's like, oh, there's like some evil lurking, and it's getting closer because the music's speeding up. It's fantastic storytelling without using any words. It's a once in a lifetime type of talent.
Right. Oh, this is great. Here we go.
All
We're
right,
almost
I'm gonna
at
run
the
a
big
peek.
speech. Great shit here. Quint has a like paper bag that he puts his tooth cap in. They're comparing battle scars. There we go. Amore eel. Oh, arm wrestling contest. Semifinal. Sorry, I'm trying not to have dead air here. I'm sorry. This is just such good shit. I get drawn in every time. It gets better. It gets better and it gets shorter every time. Well, so good. Such good shit. This is just the patience, the steadiness. This is one shot. There's not, there's a cut there, but cut back. I mean, there's not a bunch of like, oh, cameras on Shaw, cameras on Dreyfus, cameras on Shaw, cameras on Dreyfus. It's just nice to open. They're doing these takes. It's takes. It's that there's an art here.
I got the creme de la creme right here.
Oh, Richard Dreyfuss is a hairy man. A lot of hair on that chest.
Right there. Mary Ellen Moffat. She broke my heart.
These guys are in there. They're drinking. They're having a good time, telling stories, sharing scars and stuff.
It's calm before the storm.
Oh, and then
It's
Brody
the final
asks,
supper.
right? It's oh my God, yes, the last,
Don't tell me.
the final supper, yeah. What was that called? Is that what it's called with Jesus? Was it the final supper or was it the
Final
last
Supper, yeah.
supper?
The Last Supper, maybe.
I can't remember. I'm not a Jesus guy. I can't remember.
Me neither.
Here we go. This was a Hooper. USS Indianapolis. And then Cooper immediately, boom. You running Indianapolis?
You on the Indianapolis?
Oh, God, this is so good. All right, I think we're ducking out for this one.
Nice.
It's going back. The island of Tinian Delaney just delivered the bomb. The Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shot for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know was our bomb mission had been so secret. No distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. It was kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo and the idea thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you, and those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and in spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in, they rip you to pieces. By the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many men, they average 6 an hour. Thursday morning, Chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland. Baseball player, bosun's mate. I thought he was asleep. Reached over to wake him up. Bobbed up and down in the water. It was like a kind of top. Upended. Well, he'd been bitten in half below the waist. Noon the fifth day, Mr. Lockheed Ventura. So she swung in low and he saw us too. The young pilot, a lot younger than Mr. Hooper anyway, he saw us and he come in low. And 3 hours later, a big fat PBY comes down and started to pick us up. You know, that was the time I was most frightened, waiting for my turn. I'll never put on a life jacket again. So 1,100 men went in the war. 360 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb.
And the man didn't even get a fucking nomination.
An Academy Award winner in our hearts, and that's really what matters.
Holy shit, right? Beautiful. That's what Spielberg. That's why Spielberg wanted to do the Indianapolis. He wanted to do that. That's what inspired him. That speech is fantastic.
That should be one of our categories. Is like Academy Award winner in our hearts.
In our hearts.
It's like the Professor of Rock does number one in our hearts for music.
Yeah.
Like the song that should have been number one, but somehow it's just
right.
Never quite got there.
Well, this movie to me, like, I'm sorry, but this movie is the epitome of that to me.
Yeah.
Like, Shaw should have won. Shaw should have won for supporting actor. Spielberg should have won for director. Whoever, the cinematography should have won. It should have won Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like,
at least got the score.
Yeah. Well, they got that right. I mean, that's the no-brainer.
Right. It's like, what was the competition?
He's back.
Oh.
Start the engine. God, this is great. It's attacking. And it's starting to leak. There we go. Oh, so
like,
good.
Toni Collette in
Hereditary.
That's
a winner.
Wasn't even nominated.
Nominated. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we're taking it upon ourselves, and it should be. It's things that seem like no-brainers, you know, but like you have, like when we've only ducked out like that for Toni Collette so far, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think that as we go on and continue doing these, I feel like a special honor that we will bestow on certain scenes.
We talked about No Country for Old Men, and then we decided that it was too good to do commentary over. But I'm having second thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. The thing with Jaws is that, I mean, I've been watching it for probably close to 30 years now, and so it's like I feel like I have no problem talking over this whole thing, you know.
Right.
With No Country for Old Men, there's a different appreciation I have for that movie. So I'm afraid to talk over it because, for one, I'm afraid that I'm really just gonna get sucked in watching.
Right, that's true.
Because we've got sucked in a couple times. It's great. You can see shooting stars in the background here. Those were all incidental, like right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was like actual footage, like it was happening.
That's insane. That's destiny.
Here we go. Brilliant. The barrels, brilliant. It was like if we don't have the shark, we'll just use the barrels to represent the shark.
That's terrific.
It's the fucking pivot, man. And maybe we're all being worked, and this was their plan the whole time. But I know it wasn't because of the production hell that it was in.
Right.
But like the idea to be on the spot going, you know what? Let's just use the barrels.
That's such a brilliant move. And it's all like a lot of the stuff, and it's like that with a lot of things, movies and music and just life in general. That out of necessity you have to do shit that you wouldn't normally do, so you have to be innovative, and it ends up paying off in the long run.
Right. There's a payoff. See right here. It's like they're both invested. They're a team now. If this was a sports movie, they've already earned each other's trust, and now they're trying to win. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're opposites before. There's the city boy and the old-timey guy.
Here we go. Great shit. Here we go. Oh,
jeez.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I take umbrage with people saying that the shark looks fake. Like sharks look fake in real life.
They do.
It doesn't look like it looks like a real shark. They're robotic in the way they move, how their eyes don't blink.
They stalk. It's a stalking.
And they stalk,
yeah.
and they have like this they're very rigid.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like pit bulls. How they're a streamlined.
We got someone's lost their shit. This is great. God, it's like Quint is like, does he have a death wish? Does Quint know this is the end of him and he's just gonna go down? I mean, obviously he's gonna go down.
He doesn't want to bring anybody else into this mess.
Right? Or is this is this a stubborn thing where it's like, I'm taking care of this?
That's more like it, I think.
But like you said, I'm never wearing a life jacket again. So now it could also be I'm killing this, or it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So the radio. It's like basically saying like no one's coming to save us or nothing. Like 2 barrels. Now he's got 2 barrels. And he's just fucking pulling them. But look, you see how it has a little wiggle with it too, as if it was swimming.
As if he's been like how a shark would swim.
Swim, yeah. God, good shit. Brody's putting his gun on. There you go, Brody. You'll get him with that pistol. Oh, and then it's got the swashbuckling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna say it's like pirate music.
Yeah.
Adventure, that's the life for me.
Yeah. Right.
Swashbuckling music.
I mean, he. I think John Williams even uses that term.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like, because he's like, it's like the swashbuckling like sea adventure, Alger
So another great thing they keep doing with this movie, I've noticed, is they keep the actors on the bottom right, in like the open water.
Oh, okay.
And they did that with the shot where he's throwing in the chum.
Yeah.
Because they've done it a few times now, where they'll have the main actor in the frame, sort of situated on the bottom right hand side of the screen. So if something doesn't happen, you think something might happen. If you've
Right,
never seen
right.
There's all this open water. Something's gonna jump out. Nice. There's another one.
Two barrels. Oh, so they pulled the first barrel off of it. That's right. So now, yeah, it only has two. I thought it already had two, and that was the third one. Incredible. You seen that? Incredible. Can't believe his fucking eyes. Now I think he's thinking he met his match. So Spielberg, insisted on shooting in open water, like actually on actual sea, which turned out to be a real horrible plan because tides, and if there was a boat coming on in the background, he wanted them to seem isolated and not have to work, because like he felt like if the audience saw land or saw a boat, like go towards them. Why are you don't go towards the shark, run away.
Right. You have to look like it's your only option is to kill the shark.
So there are a few shots in the background where you can kind of see a boat in the distance, but it's not. I mean, as you can see, there's nothing around. But the tide changes or the sky and everything, it made it really hard for them to.
Yep.
It made it really hard for them to have continuity in certain shots.
Right.
So this movie's a miracle. It's a miracle. So they got the rope for the barrels hooked up to the shark now, or hooked up to the boat. So now the shark is pulling the boat. Brilliant. They caught the two barrels, and now it's got the fucking. Oh, Chief Brody.
Oh,
there's
tanks.
another. So now, yeah, he's like, he's gonna drag it in and drown it. So now he thinks he caught it. This is great. He didn't catch it. As a viewer, you're like, there's no.
Right, not this. That's too easy now. It's not grand enough.
Oh, great shit. Mm-hmm. Another barrel in its face. All right, I guess it's a harpoon. Oh. Oh. Oh, how terrifying.
Oh.
How terrifying. This movie is just horrifying, man.
See, it's one of those things I wish that I could go back and see it for the very first time in theaters. Not having,
And think about this. The reason why they called it a blockbuster, created the term blockbuster, because in the old days there weren't multiplexes. There was a movie theater.
Yeah.
And so people would be lined up around the block to fucking see this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for days.
My dad, my family's from Hawaii. 3 barrels. There we go. My dad's side of the family, half of it's from Hawaii. And so my dad would go there in the summers. He'd fly out to Hawaii and stay with his cousins and stuff every summer. And he begged, my dad would have been 11 years old when this movie came out. Mm-hmm. And he begged his uncle, him and his cousin begged his uncle to go see this. And he goes, no, I'm not taking you to see this because you guys aren't going to go in the ocean the rest of the summer. And I'm not and you're not going to be inside the house all the time. And they're like, no, we won't. And he goes, all right, so here's the deal. I'll take you to go see the movie, but we're bringing your swim shit, and we're going directly to the beach afterwards, and you guys have to go swimming. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. He said they watched the movie, and then afterwards they were like, we're not really going to the beach, are we? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, my dad said that his uncle had to literally drag them to the water. They were kicking and screaming. Drag them to the water, throw them in the water. And he said, my dad was like, we were like cats. We hit the water and just jumped right out. Like, bah, bah, like jumped out of there. And it's like, that's Jaws in a nutshell right there, you know?
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's like how you take your kids watch, like Friday the 13th,
right
before bed. It's like, all right, but you got to go to bed immediately
right,
afterwards.
Right. No, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Sure, right, where
dreams are dreams. Yeah.
There you go. That's a better.
That was a great little touch there that I'd never really caught before. Where Jeff's like, "You ever have one do this before?" And he's like, "No." Oh God, this is great. See, they've gone from being fishermen to being prey.
Sure.
You know.
Now they're
full prey. Before they was like it was like they were the hunters. Then it became a game. Mm-hmm. It became like a sport. Now it's they're hunted.
Yeah.
See, there's land right there though. That's funny. You see land. I knew there was a moment. I remember when you see land, but I think the idea is that he's trying to pull it towards land. And he's gonna blow the. He's gonna flood the engine. Look at the 3 barrels behind it. Oh, good shit. Is he dragging it? I'm trying to think. Is he dragging it or is the shark chasing it? Look at him.
I don't remember. Are the barrels still attached to the shark?
RPM.
They are. They have.
Yeah. But it pulled the cleats out. He's losing his shit, man.
He doesn't have the quiet confidence he did.
No, because he's going mad.
The orca.
It's flooded
Killer
completely.
whale.
Oh, dude. This is like just a nightmare for me. Be on a boat that's filling with water while
there's a giant killer shark. Well, there's a giant dinosaur of the water that hates you because you bothered it so much. It hates you now.
Yeah.
You're being chased by a dinosaur in its own territory, and it hates you. And it wants to kill you.
Right.
But it wants to frighten you first. It's like Pennywise. It's like a T-Rex in the water that's also Pennywise.
Right.
It needs
or
to
Freddy Krueger.
It needs to make you afraid before it kills you. Well, this is it, boys.
We need to do No Country for Old Men, and we need to do There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood would be a great.
We need to find my DVD of There Will Be Blood. That's missing. I don't know where it's at. It might be at the Michelle's, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And my copy. I know my copy of Whiplash is at the Michelle's.
Whiplash is fantastic. Whiplash is 5 cheeseburgers. And it won Best Supporting Actor.
It did,
which it deserved.
Yeah.
That was justice served.
Yeah. Look at this little through his skin. but I can get it in his
Get
mouth.
close enough to this cage, I think I could get him in the mouth. Shark in that cage. You
Any better suggestions? My MySpace page had that as a quote for whatever reason. You got any better suggestions? Richard Dreyfuss.
Six Degrees to Kevin Bacon. Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider, 6 Degrees to Kevin Bacon. Okay, so Roy, I'm gonna use Richard Dreyfuss as the jump off, I guess. So Roy Scheider was in Jaws with Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss was in What About Bob with Bill Murray. Bill Murray was in Wild Things with Kevin
There
Bacon.
you go. Yep, that's the train of thought I had when I delivered that one to you. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
You get an A.
Oh God, how terrifying. Huh.
I was trying to think if Richard Dreyfuss was in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell you. I wonder if that look there from Quint was ominous. I wonder if he's sacrificing Hooper as like bait to get the shark closer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously,
his look-
I think maybe I'm overanalyzing it because they had to talk like, can you get this in the skin? But if I can get it in the mouth, and like he obviously just throw. Okay, fine, go throw it in there. Chief Brody was the one, you know, that shark will tear through the cage. Quint didn't say anything about, hey, no, don't do it.
Right.
I never thought about that until right now. That Quint was throwing Hooper out there as bait, not as, oh, let's try your idea and see if it works. He's gone mad, remember?
Right. He's not that kind of guy, anyways. He's not the kind of guy. But well, let's try your thing, and then he's like,
well,
this is my
well,
vessel.
but he remember. There's been there was like a kind of a turn, like a, you know.
Yeah, but I think more of
Was
it
it
being
more
he's
like-
gone mad
yeah.
is more like it, to where he would
'cause
sacrifice
you
him
could-
as bait.
Okay, I was gonna say
I like that idea.
Originally, the original interpretation, this is real shark footage, by the way. This is when they mix in the real shark footage.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, see, like that's a real shark. They took a like a little person, like a midget, and put him in a cage to give the better perspective of the shark when they have the shark in
Really?
a cage. Yeah,
Oh my God, that's great.
yeah. And then you'll see the shark actually, that real shark got caught in the cage in the wiring, started thrashing around, and said, but 'cause Spielberg still used it and then made a change to the. That's real footage. Made a change to the script. That's real footage. See, that's a little person in the cage.
Jeez. Okay. Man, they
That's
really.
Dreyfuss.
Yeah. This movie really is a great example of how you can distort.
Right?
If you're creative enough, you can do a lot with a little.
Right. Because in the book he
But
dies.
that's not
here.
real footage.
No, that's not. No, but in the book he dies. He gets eaten.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
The stabbing, I mean, like, he's able to kind of get himself loose and stuff. Because that you could see, hold on. God, it's horrifying. Horrifying. So he gets to swim away. Now watch. Hold on. Here we go. Where's that? This is the real footage of the shark getting caught in the cage. The real shark.
Wow. Okay.
And Spielberg loved the visual of it so much that he wanted to keep it because the shark wasn't supposed to get caught in the cage doing that.
Right.
It was supposed to just we want it with the little guy. The little guy got out of there and it just started tearing it apart because it got caught in it and started thrashing around.
That's so great.
Yeah, like
See that tiny little link that was holding that whole thing
Yeah.
together?
I think that's real. Yeah, that's still real. That's all real. Real shit. And then it just swam away. That was like down in Australia. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. They rigged something up. Oh God, this is good. But
He's gone.
my favorite shot maybe of any movie ever. And there used to be a thing on TBS called Movies for Guys Who Love Movies. Then it used to be on like Saturday nights, Movies for Guys Who Like Movies. And during the montage, it had this shot right here. Here it is. This one. Right there.
Yeah.
That would be in the montage for Movies for Guys Who Like Movies.
Okay, yeah.
And I was always like, God, that's such a scary looking shot.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
terrifying.
it's so great. Here it is. This is like this is a horrifying death. In the book, Quint harpoons the shark and the shark just dies and drowns.
Oh.
Like Quint gets tied up with the fucking like in the barrel ropes and then they go down or whatever. This he gets eaten and stabs it with a machete though. Horrible.
Oh. That's a horrible death.
Just
That
brilliant.
blood just floating in the...
Just brilliant. Just horrible, horrifying.
Now you got your
Now
you got your captain's gone now.
Yep. Oh. Oh my God.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Right?
Shark looks
Foreshadowing.
fucking great.
Oh man. Look at this. This is just such a masterful.
Masterful cinematography.
We have a ticking clock and it's the fucking boat sinking, you know? It's silent. No score. Here it comes.
There it is.
Oh.
French horn.
I would love well, my dream as a musician, like I have a few dreams as a musician, but
A few dozen.
Well, one of them would be to score a movie. I think that would
Yeah.
be really cool.
Oh, it'd be a blast.
But I also would love to be able to have the time to do what people think Pink Floyd did with Wizard of Oz, and to actually make an album where there's like the ebbs and like Wizard of Oz and
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon, to where then you could sync it up, you know? Like I
Yes.
just would love to do that. I feel like that would be awesome thing to try. And Jaws is always one of those where it immediately comes to mind.
yeah.
But then it's like the score is so good. But then again, with Wizard of Oz, the music's so good in Wizard of Oz. Then you play Dark Side of the Moon over it, and you don't necessarily miss it.
Right.
Oh god, this is great. Your last chance. Oh, great. Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
Peril. The
Oh.
music screams peril.
yep. Oh, here we go. Boom. Fuck yeah. Yeah. He got it.
Ah! Chunks of shark all over the place.
Oh. So Spielberg always drew, when he was making this, like he thought it was fate. He drew this comparison between this and Duel.
Mm-hmm.
Because Duel is about this trucker that just is stalking this man and won't stop. But you don't know who the trucker is. He's just a truck, and eventually it ends up driving over this cliff and explode. It doesn't explode. It kind of like dies like a really slow death where like all. Anyways, he was like Duel, 4 letters. Jaws, 4 letters. It's like this is just a sequel to Duel.
Okay.
And
or a retelling.
So then that while the piece of the shark was drowning there, you could hear he used an old roar, like dinosaur roar from an old dinosaur movie back in the old day, like the 30s or whatever. A roar from that, and he used the same roar in Duel. And he was like, that was like my nod, my connection to Duel. There, I used the same the semi was driving off the cliff. He used that roar, like, sample. So he used it there as the shark was drowning to the bottom. It's there.
That's perfect.
Anyways, yeah, it's a really great. And obviously you have the happy ending
Easter
here with
egg.
Dreyfus. Yep. Yeah, all the fish eating the shark and they're kicking themselves in.
It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday, I think. The tide's with us. Keep kicking.
Keep kicking.
I used to hate the water.
I could imagine why.
I can't imagine why.
And then he just settles there on a shot of the beach. And then he just roll credits. Brilliant.
Beautimus.
Brilliant fucking shit. I wanted to keep watching the credits there while it was rolling, and Peacock just exit right out of them.
Peacock just doesn't want you fucking around with all that.
So-
They want you to go to the next movie that's not as good.
So yeah, that's Jaws. I don't know what more I can say.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I'd go Meltzer style and give this thing 6 out of 6 cheeseburgers if I could, and if I disrespected the rating system that we're trying to establish here.
Yeah. The rating
but
system,
I'm gonna give it. It is a hard 5 cheeseburgers with like really good cheese, like aged cheddar melted on there, mixed with like something else really good. Like it's like
Wagyu beef.
yeah, and Wagyu beef. It's like, but it's perfect in every way. I love it. It's my favorite movie. Brilliant. Probably, and I will say it's probably Steven Spielberg's best movie.
Wow.
And he's made some fantastic films. And I think his most underrated movie is Catch Me If You Can. I want to go on the record and say that.
Yeah. It's
I
not
think
Hook?
Hook is very misunderstood.
Yeah. Catch Me If You Can was good. I've seen that.
Oh yeah, and I think it should be like if that was any other director's movie, it would be considered that director's finest achievement.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
just an afterthought in his movie catalog.
Right. That's the problem with being too good at what you do.
That's true. Very true.
But I would give this movie 5 cheeseburgers as well. 5 cheeseburgers, acting,
Yeah.
cinematography,
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
plot.
Yeah.
It's got all the things.
It's a Hall of Famer. It's a Hall of Fame movie. It's
Brute and the Fruit Hall of
Brute and
Fame.
the Fruit Hall of Fame. First ballot, like 100% vote, like no brainer. Just tremendous. They're tremendous. Everything is neat and tidy in there. You don't have any kind of like super glaring like
No loose ends. No setup for a sequel,
Yeah, no.
which has become grossly overdone.
Yep.
With everything, because everything has to be like, whoa, we can't like totally like
Right.
like we have to have something at the very end.
You have to
something
keep it
ominous.
open
It's
because you got to make money.
right.
Instead
And
of thinking of more, it's just instead of using your creativity to then generate income and large ideas, you have to just recycle.
Yeah.
That's another thing you gotta give Spielberg credit for. He didn't do Jaws 2.
Right.
I mean, he did do Jurassic Park 2. I mean, and by the time you hit 90s Spielberg, it's different. And I guess he did all the Indiana Jones movies, but those were like episodic. It wasn't like, because like the first Raiders of the Lost Ark, that was its own story, and then the second one was a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was another episode. So like it wasn't like he was doing this thing where he was setting up these movies and then just trying to cash in on the thing.
He wasn't setting up the sequel in the first movie.
Right, and it was more George Lucas that was doing the sequels for Raiders of the Lost Ark and all that. Anyways, all right. Until next time, you guys come back, like, subscribe, share, watch another movie with us, email us, brute.n.fruit@gmail.com.
Or Twitter.
And at Twitter, brute_fruit, I think is what it is.
Brute_n_fruit.
Oh, yeah, brute_n_fruit at Twitter if you want to hit us up. That's it. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.